Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt, aka Sciar Rathbun. Today we're here with an episode of Game On. We're going to teach you about the Garrison building in World of Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor. So for starters, let's just start off with the basics. In Warlords of Draenor, you gain access to a Garrison building, which gains more building plots as you level it up. The Garrison and all the buildings in the Garrison can level up to level 3. They all start at level 1. They require some gold and some Garrison resources to level up each thing. So there are 3 different sizes of buildings available to you, as well as followers and missions you can send them on. In a nutshell, the Garrison is a time-constrained minigame offering you rewards for logging into WoW more frequently. It can also provide your specific playstyle with more benefits depending on which buildings you end up choosing. Now you can't get them all, but you can get quite a few. In this guide I'm going to tell you what everything does, and hopefully I'll make this complex system a little bit easier to understand. Okay, so first things first, we're going to start with the small buildings. Small Garrison buildings are generally just used for trade skills. They allow you to unlock some portion of trade skill abilities without having to actually have the trade skill itself. So if you built, say, an engineering building, you actually gain access to a bunch of engineering schematics without having to actually level up any engineering at all. The small buildings can also produce work orders, providing materials for that specific trade skill. So pretty much every building is just going to produce some stuff to help you with that trade skill and give you a couple of recipes that you wouldn't otherwise have access to if you don't have the trade skill. So every non-gathering profession gets its own small building. However, there are 2 non-profession buildings that you can build as well. The first one is the storehouse, which provides access to more work orders if you're going to be building a lot of different things. It can be really handy. And the guild bank and void storage and transmog are all going to be accessible in your garrison if you build the storehouse. The other option is the salvage yard, which allows your followers, when they are sent out on a mission, to bring back a pack of salvage. You can break this down to create some random items. Generally, you just get some grays you're going to vendor, but once you get the salvage yard up to level 3, you do actually have a chance to gain player loot, so you could get some gear upgrades, although chances are it's going to take too long to get it up to level 3 before you get any bonuses from it anyways, so it's probably not really worth it, unless you just want to generate a little bit of extra money while you send your guys out on missions. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up small buildings in a nutshell. You're going to want to build the ones that are relevant to your trade skill, and then maybe something else if you want access to a trade skill. For example, I like the engineering trinkets, but my current character doesn't have engineering, so I built a small engineering depot so that I have a couple of those accessible to me. Alright, now we're going to be going on to the medium buildings. Now the medium garrison buildings are used for multiple things that provide benefits depending on how you choose to play the game. Basically, there's a little more variety than in the small buildings. The Gladiator's Sanctum allows you to collect bones for killing other players in world PvP. Now you can take these bones and you can spend them on work orders at the Gladiator Sanctum, and that's going to give you, again, a random reward for every time that the work order is complete. What this means is you can generally get maybe some PvP gear, or just a lot of money, or even some honor sometimes for turning these in. Now remember, these are just for world PvP, so you're mostly going to get them from killing other players out in Draenor or doing Ashran. You're not going to pick these up from doing battlegrounds. So if you do mostly just battlegrounds and arenas, this isn't actually probably going to provide a lot of benefit to you. Now another building, the barn is going to be used to help you farm for leatherworking and some tailoring recipes. At max level, it allows you to farm an item called Savage Blood, which is a reagent used in a recipe for high item level epic gear. Now the inn is going to be your go-to choice for dungeon runners. It provides you with a lot of vanity items that you can unlock that you will earn through quests, and some other small rewards you'll get as well. You get a daily visitor that offers dungeon quests, and there's a whole bunch of them, so sorry I can't cover every single one in this guide, but if you want to, you can go and look up a list of quests that you can get for taking the inn. The lumber mill is the best way to earn more garrison resources. You're going to want to get this one right away for almost everybody. Garrison resources are pretty much limited through time, so this is the best way to up that in the very beginning. For those of us who didn't have my guide ready, we're going to be kicking ourselves, because if you don't get this, your garrison resource rate is basically cut in half. Now there are 2 other buildings that can get you some stuff, but we'll cover those in a little bit. Okay, the final medium building that you have access to is the trading post. Now the trading post lets you have access to an auction house inside your garrison, and you can trade in crafting regents for garrison resources. Now this is a good way to get some garrison resources, but it's going to cost you other supplies. Now the lumber mill's actually your best bet because the garrison resources it supplies actually are completely free. At max level, the trading post also provides a 20% boost to reputation gain, and that's account wide, so if you build one of those on your character, you can use it for all of your alts as well. Okay, that does it for the medium buildings, but how about the large ones? So the large garrison buildings are used for some big bonuses. I'm going to have to go into those individually as well because they're pretty unique. Okay, so the armory is for granting you a better chance, double to be specific, to gain an upgrade to your rare and epic items. It also grants a chance for the upgrade to be even better. So say if it was generally going to be upgraded by 2 item levels, maybe it does 3 or 4 instead. At level 2, you can use the work orders for this building to create better equipment for your garrison followers. At level 3, you get one free reroll for raids every single week. Basically, in a nutshell, this building is the one you want if you're a big-time raider. Every raiding character is going to want to have an armory because that free reroll saves you a lot of time, and the chance to upgrade your epics to make them a little bit better is also going to be really, really important. The next building is the barracks. The barracks unlocks better patrol missions for your followers. At level 2, it allows you to have a companion while you travel through the Draenor zones. The companion is any one of your garrison followers. And at level 3, your garrison can have up to 5 more followers. This building is going to be ideal for the people who like to focus on building up their garrison and playing that minigame in WoW. The next building is the Mage Tower. Now the Mage Tower is going to let you travel instantly to certain locations through Draenor. Every level of the building lets you have another portal that you can use. Now there are 6 to choose from total, but that means you're only going to be able to have 3 teleports that take you to them. This building is going to be best used for people who like to do a lot of questing and exploring and want to travel around quite a bit, but you want to get there a little bit faster. Okay, the next building is the Stables. Now the Stables lets you capture special mounts, and it also gives you a 20% boost to your mounted speed at max level, and it lets you interact with things in Draenor while you remain mounted. Mostly this building is going to be useful for people who like to go farming for a lot of their trade skills. You can mine or farm herbs while you remain mounted, and you can run around 20% faster throughout the zone. Now the other thing the Stables is going to provide you with is you will get some garrison resources at first when you unlock the stable mounts, so you do get a little bit of a kickback reward from this one if you're really interested in mount collection. The final large building is the Workshop, which is basically just an extension on the engineering profession. The max level gives you a siege vehicle that you can summon anywhere in Draenor once per day, and the other levels gives you access to a bunch of kind of wacky, fun engineering inventions. If you want to see all those, you can go look up a list on your own, but basically anybody who really loves the engineering trade skill is probably going to find this one to be a lot of fun. Okay, so these are the 3 types of buildings, but there is one more kind of mini off to the side type that should get mentioned, but everybody gains access to all of these automatically. 3 of them are primarily for resources. One is a mine, where you can go and mine ore, and anybody can do this, by the way. You don't have to have mining to be able to mine ore in your garrison. The other one is for herbalism. Again, you do not need the herbalism trade skill to go and farm herbs from your little herb garden in your garrison. And the third one is for fishing. It's a nice little place where you can just go and fish inside your safe little zone, and it gives you access to level appropriate fish. These fish are going to be pretty important in Draenor because a lot of them are used for the rating buffs and the high tier buffs, a lot more than previous expansions. Now the final one's a little bit different. It's a small off to the side building that's better for giving you pet battles and better cooldowns for pets and rare pets that will come in that you can go and fight and level up your pets. So it's all about the pet battle Pokemon system. Now to unlock these, you just do a simple, very fast quest right beside the node. So if you are going to go to the mine, you have to go clear the mine out and kill a couple monsters near it. For the herb garden, you have to kill a couple flowers. It's really not too complicated, and then they open up. Okay, so access to all of your buildings is going to be there once you finish leveling up to level 100. But how do you level them up to level 2 and level 3? At first this seems a little bit confusing, but it's actually pretty easy. Okay, so for level 2, this is usually unlocked simply by purchasing the schematic for most buildings. Once you're a high enough level, the goblin required for purchases is available inside your garrison. His position does shift slightly, but he can usually be found in the primary town hall building for garrison level 2 and 3, and I believe he's just outside of that for garrison level 1. Level 3 schematics, on the other hand, are usually unlocked by getting some sort of relevant achievement towards the building. For example, the PvP building, the Gladiator's Sanctum, unlocks the level 3 schematic by farming 4,000 bones from PvP kills in Warlords of Draenor. The achievement is called the Bone Collector, and most buildings have similar unlock methods. So you're going to need to do something related to that building so that you can get the level 3 version of it. Okay, so that covers the buildings in the garrison. But what about the different quests and things that you can do with your followers? Okay, so the quests are pretty simple. Honestly, they're very self-explanatory, but we're going to cover them really quickly anyways. Each quest has 1 to 3 followers that's going to be required to put on it. These followers all have individual abilities, and the enemies on the quest are going to have abilities that can be countered. So for example, some enemies might be weak to followers that have a taunt. So if you put a follower with a taunt on the mission, the chance for success is going to rise dramatically. Other followers might be better in a tundra environment, so they're going to be a lot better for any quest that requires a follower in a tundra environment. Every quest has these little things. It's basically just a match game. Does it have A? You have A. Great, match it up. That gives you a higher chance to succeed. Now each quest can also have multiple types of rewards. The most common and important ones being either garrison resources, which is fantastic because it's a nice easy way to get them, gold, which is also great if you need some extra money, or follower experience, which is going to be the most common one you're going to run into. The follower experience obviously just gives your followers even more experience for completing a mission, although they will get XP for any mission they go on anyways. Now when the followers come back for your mission, if you have a salvage yard built, you're going to get some salvage boxes from them, and you can run over there and open that for a little bit of extra money on top. Now in terms of getting followers specifically, they are spread all over Draenor with a bunch of different ways to unlock them. The most common thing you're going to do is pretty much pick up a good chunk of them just leveling up to level 100 doing your quest line. You get a lot of followers just for completing little chunks of quests, and then they have different abilities that they're going to spawn with. Now the abilities are not static for every single follower. A few of them have preset abilities, but a lot of them are randomized. So this means that your follower named Ted might actually have different stats than your friend's follower named Ted. So you never know exactly what you're going to get, so you kind of want to have a lot of them so you have access to a lot of different abilities so you can counter whatever quests you run into. Okay, last but not least, there's one little thing we need to cover, and that's just work orders. Work orders are something that you can attach to a building to get it kind of producing something extra for you. Your garrison has a maximum number of work orders that can be done at one time, and work orders can be stacked up so you can do multiple ones of them, so say over the next 20 hours it will complete every single work order. Every work order is going to produce something specific to whatever sort of building you've decided to do it from. So again, we'll use that PvP building for example. If you produce a work order in the PvP building, you're going to be rewarded with either gold, honor, or potentially PvP gear. The smaller buildings are going to reward you with something relevant to the trade skill that you're working it up for, and every building generally produces something along those lines. Okay, so we're going to close this video with a couple of quick tips. Number one, you're going to want to get your lumber mill immediately. It generates more resources, allowing you to level up to tier 3 faster for pretty much everything, and even if you break it down later, it will be well worth it, as long as you get those initial resources bursting yourself up. The other thing that I want to tell you guys is be careful with your follower missions. They actually cost garrison resources every single time you send somebody out. That means that you can spend hundreds, if not thousands of garrison resources extremely quickly doing these missions to level up your followers. For me, I didn't have the garrison all the way up to level 3 just yet, and it was because I sent too many followers on too many missions, and I realized I needed to stop to start earning more resources. Now the other thing you might be asking is, well Matt, how do I get more garrison resources? Okay, so there are ways to earn garrison resources outside of your garrison generating them every hour. The primary way you're probably going to get your resources is that your garrison does just generate 6 every hour, and it caps at a stack of 500 inside your garrison. There's going to be a little box you're going to want to right click on, and it's going to give you however many you've built up. You can get them from some other sources, but aren't quite as efficient. As I said earlier, you're going to want to build that lumber mill early on because it's going to help generate some resources. You can also get some from the stables or the trading mill. But if you're really impatient, most rare mobs in the world are going to give you about 20 extra per rare you kill, so you can go around the world and try to hunt those down. A lot of the zone quests will give you an extra little bit, and there's a few other methods that have these kind of trickle in over time. But your primary points are going to be definitely that lumber mill and your garrison resource, and then it's just going to be a little bit of a waiting game. If you want to farm the rares or do one of those other methods, you can Google some of that information, but we're not going to go into it in depth in this video. Alright, I hope this clarified things for you guys and gives you a little bit of an idea of how you want to build your garrison. Remember, it is a very, very unique and independent thing that you're going to have to go through, so you're going to need to understand the system so that you can build it for yourself. This guide was just here to give you the information you need so that you can make the decisions yourself. For anybody with any additional questions or concerns, please post them down in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Other than that, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube or follow me on Twitter at Sciar. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching GOMTV and happy hunting in Warlords of Draenor.